I think my mother is copying me, and I want her to back off.
I've heard of Mama's Boys, but like this is giving me the creeps.
This is also comes from one of our own on the r/OKstorytime subreddit. So, it's our family member. I, 35 female, and my mom, 55 female, have always had a weird relationship. She's married to my bio father, who was not a good man. They divorced when I was 7, and I didn't live full-time with her until I was around 15, almost 16. At 18, she remarried to a different type of red flag, and it got so bad that I went no contact with her for almost 3 years because of him. She was not at my wedding because of this. We did not get back in contact when my grandfather passed away, and it slowly built back up. But when the second husband left her, she permanently moved herself into my life. By the way, this comes from Independent N53, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit, because this is where this one's from. So, everything has to be her, myself, and my husband. And I mean everything. We weren't allowed to go to dinner without checking in with her and seeing if she wants to go, unless we want to hear a lecture about how she was free, and all we had to do was call. I planned a weekend away from myself. I was going through a lot and just needed to cry and sleep and just be alone. I let her know I would not be available for a weekend a month away, that I was being overwhelmed with all my responsibilities, and that if I didn't want to snap and bite everyone's head off, I needed some alone time. But she immediately started to plan a girls' trip. I was gonna stay at a local hotel near 2 restaurants that I love and can walk to. Nope. Now I was doing a weekend away. Thankfully, my husband took it upon himself to book me the hotel for the weekend before my original plan, and told me to tell her I had to work because he had a plan. He then checked in with me and got me set up. Then he ran over to the restaurant and picked it up, and then he went home. Then the next weekend, I was refreshed and handled the forced girls trip, which she acted like I needed the whole time because my husband and my job, that she was the angel there to save me. Ugh, okay.
Oh, this is giving me like codependent and just the mom doesn't want to be alone anymore vibes.
Oh,
Mom
I didn't
know how to exist outside of a relationship with another person.
Yeah.
Which may be why she was into red flag relationship.
From this, she kind of looks like the savior or saving them.
Absolutely wants to save.
And that's probably how she stumbled upon those red flag relationships.
She's seeing OP as a project, not as a person.
We think she is trying to become me. She started getting my hairstyle cut that I've had for decades. So I stopped and haven't cut my hair in about 4 years because that was my haircut and don't know what else to get. I went through a few doctors and found out that I have neurospiciness. Her response was, well, yeah, you got that from me. But she has never been to therapy or anything. And now when something isn't going quite right, she will bust out my diagnosis and blame that. But I can't have at least a bit of a down moment. Then she started buying the same clothes as me when we went shopping together, which I joked as long as we don't wear them at the same time, which she has tried to do a couple of times. I don't put a hoodie on or have a tank top in the car and complain that I was hot or cold depending on the outfit change. When we go out to dinner or a small trip or basically anything, every decision comes down to me. I can't even pick out a meal I want because then she will want it too. So then I have to pick a second one because we can't get the same thing or that would be wasteful.
This is really creepy. Like, this is a horror movie plot developing.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
She's becoming the daughter. Or is she saving herself from decision fatigue? What's that called?
Probably.
Decision fatigue?
Yeah, it's just easier to go along with what her daughter wants. So one, maybe she's trying to develop like a closer bond with her daughter, especially after her daughter went like no contact for a little bit.
Like 3 or 4 years, yeah.
So she could be trying, that could be the only way she knows how to do it and probably doesn't realize that she's alienating the daughter too.
Yeah.
She could be trying to like, and this is going the horror movie route, replace her.
I was thinking that.
Oh God, what if mom like has a crush on husband? Little swapperoo there.
Maybe.
Or maybe it's just
some moms could do that. There are some moms out there that could probably swap with their daughters. And no one would know a thing.
Yeah.
When we do small vacations, I find all the lodging, restaurants, and activities. And unless I make it a big deal about how much I want to do something, she will try to make sure it doesn't happen. Example, if I want to go to this restaurant, I have to say I really want to go, and I can't wait to try it. Then all of a sudden, she's really excited to do it too. Yes, I know this is manipulation to make sure I get what I want, but otherwise she'll cancel the thing I was actually looking forward to do. It has happened more than a dozen of times. I mean, I have to act like it's life or that I get to do/eat the thing. If I just say, oh, this place is cool and I want to check it out, she will agree. But then the comments of, do we have time or money for that? And it just doesn't happen. During the vid, I learned how to quilt and find real joy in it. She started acting like it was a we task and acted like we were going to learn together. But she didn't really help/learn. When I started completing quilts and was getting compliments for it, she all of a sudden had the urge. I have been using my extra fabric to make quilts for women's shelters, and of course, she is now making quilts for women's shelters too, and she loves to bring it up and act like it was her idea and that she's like the best person in the whole world for doing this. You know what? I'll take that one. If all this stuff is happening, you're giving a little bit of good back to the world.
Yeah, I mean, she's making the quilt, so
Yeah.
a little bit of good back, but it's like I'm getting a little bit of life trauma from this. Not quite fully to this extent, but
Wait, this happened to you?
No, but my mom is like has some of these behaviors, not nearly to this extent.
Yeah.
But it's like there was one time me and my brother were watching, I think it was Breaking Bad. We started watching Breaking Bad together.
Okay.
And then one time me and him like watched an episode or two without her, and she's like, "You watched our show without me?" And it's like, "Whoa, you were never part of this. You like hopped in like halfway through season 1. What do you mean our show?"
Well, season 1's pretty.
No, but
I
it's
can
like,
see where she's going from on
but
that
still,
one.
it's like this was a me and my brother thing where she would happen to be like washing the dishes at the time or doing something at the table. She wasn't really actively
Okay.
involved, and then she kind of made it her thing.
And that's why Matt went no contact with his mom for 7 years.
No,
But never gives me the credit for being the one who started it or figuring out which women's shelter in a big city near us needed blankets. Yes, she has made some, but I do not believe she has actually donated any. And my husband made a comment that he has noticed her copying my body language. Like, I have a nervous tick that I twirl my hair. Now she twirls hers. I started to do this weird finger trick for self-soothing. It's the best way I can explain it, that she had not seen yet, and we know for sure she didn't do it. I saw it during a group therapy and talked with the person, and I adopted it with a little variation. So we watched her, and she did it after a minute or two of me doing it. I didn't even notice it at first, but it became clear she was copying me and didn't even know the mantra that pairs with the finger trick. So it's confirmed she was copying me. I do not know if this was on purpose or not. I hope not. This is the tipping point of the whole story. A few weeks ago, we had a small party with some friends we had not seen in a while. It was at my house. I cleaned my house and yard for weeks. Not dirty, just clutter. Got up first thing in the morning to do all the prep and cooking. She showed up about 2 hours before the party to help, but I told her I had it all under control. So we just sat there and hung out. When everyone arrived, she had to dominate the conversation. I was trying to have a side conversation with a friend, and she cut me off to have me confirm something in her story that I did not need to confirm. I've been in these scenarios so many times, and I dislike them so much. Just let me have my own side conversation. I created this. Let me have it.
Mom needs friends.
Mom needs a friend.
Mom needs a social life, a hobby, anything.
Bridge club. I don't care. Cards, something. Heck, get into gambling, Mom. She might like that. It happened twice more before I gave up having an adult conversation and just sat there playing on my phone until someone needed something. I had to step away and hid in my room at my party because the conversation was one I've had with her 19 times and really couldn't handle one more. So again, my lovely husband saved me. He made it a drinking game. Every time she cut me off, we had to take a drink of adult soda/wine. Every time she brought it back to the conversation I was having, we would discreetly go into the kitchen and have a shot. After the third turnaround to the same conversation, I told him I had to stop, but it did make it way more fun, LOL. She was talking about her new dating app boyfriend that screams red flags. I mean, this guy doesn't have an official job, does some online crap that my mom has helped fund, and it wasn't cheap. It wasn't until one of the friends brought it up that it sounds like a financial that she stopped bringing him up. She still has the scheduled trip for the middle of September to meet him, but she is now staying in a hotel in a town next to his that has a lot of stuff for her to go do. My big problem, and what I need advice on, is I don't know how to make my mom see that she does not help me in the least bit. She does nothing but add responsibility and stress to me, but she acts like she takes things off my plate. I really need her to back off. Let me have time to breathe. I work 50 hours a week and have a husband and a house that I take care of. And I go do countless doctor trips and therapy sessions throughout the month. At least one a week every week. I know she's not in love with my husband and doesn't want to replace me as me. I know she was lonely, and that's always been an issue for her. I've suggested she seek therapy, and we know she loves my husband as a son. But we both think she would be ecstatic if something happened to him and I to rely on her completely. With her, my triggers don't exist. My anxieties do not exist. My childhood did not happen. Even though she came from a loving home, my grandparents were separated by not divorce, and they bent over backward for their kids. I was not raised in a happy home. How do you naturally bring this up to mom?
I don't think she would listen to it.
Yeah.
I think she'd just be completely dismissive of it. Well, I mean, my conspiracy theory is out the window, according to OP. But at this point, I think you have to kind of let it wither. Because she's never going to listen to the fact that you need space. She's never going to listen to the fact that she's copying you. She's never going to listen to the fact that she's causing you trauma. The fact that she is already kind of gaslighting OP's childhood trauma or problems or pretty much anything that OP brings up. Just is a big red flag that it's beyond anything that conversation can do.
Yeah.
So you have to let her go her own way with, I mean, it sucks to say, like, let her go with this red flag guy, but she needs something else to devote her attention to. She's obsessive to the point of harm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to the story. I'm 35 years old and I feel like I have to run her life, except for when I think she makes a bad decision. I can't say anything or I get my head chewed off. I haven't said anything too bad about the internet boyfriend because he's at least taking some of her time away from me. But when she first started helping him get his starter off the ground, I did make some comments about the cost and how it sounds more like a MLM instead of a true business. But I was quickly shut down and got to enjoy a 3-hour car ride home in silence because she just refused to talk about anything after that. Until we got to my grandmother's and everything was normal again. And you could be normal on any car ride you want to go on by joining your favorite podcast platform on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify and searching up OK Storytime for more stories just like these. And you don't have to bear the silence. You can just listen to us. We got a little bit more here. Any other thoughts before we finish it?
There needs to be therapy.
Yeah.
There's some underlying issue that the mother just doesn't want to address. There's an issue with maturity. There's an issue with boundaries. It's not going to get better without it. Because the fact that she's gone now to 3 red flag boyfriends, it's going to keep happening. There's no end.
There's no end.
It's a cycle.
It is a cycle. And honestly, I don't know if she'll ever accept it. She may just
absolutely
let it happen. And that's just the way she's going to be. And you're just going to have to distance yourself. I do not want to cut my mother out of my life at this point. In general, we do get along. She's fun to be around 50% of the time. And she doesn't do anything up front. It's all subtle. And it's just building up. Every story above has 5 or more just like it. I'm sure she has some big diagnosis if she ever makes it to therapy. When I've suggested it to her, her answer is, I'm not that bad, every time. And if I just cut her out of my life again, she will go full force with this internet boyfriend and end up being really hurt again. And that's not what I want. Any advice, really just putting it all out here, has been a little bit of help. Yes, I go to group therapy for some of my diagnosis, both mental and medical. But it's not a therapy session for myself, and I'm in the process of finding myself a one-on-one therapist. But until then, I will ask the Reddit and OK Storytime. Love the channel, by the way. We freaking love you, OP. Comment number 1. I'm going to be a little blunt here. Your mother sounds very selfish, and I'm genuinely concerned with the behavior you're described here. She sounds very dependent on a man, and I could guess her copying behavior is either her way of feeling younger to catch up a male's attention or trying to take over your life with your husband. That's a big assumption on my part, but I would caution you with the time you spend with her. I would worry about if your mom may end up flipping on you sometimes from just copying you to trying to take over either your decisions or your life. Ignoring everything I said, I think you can't stop your mom from dating who she wants and making those mistakes. You should step back now. Make distance in small steps at the very least, and don't share sensitive information with her. Please be safe. OP says, yes, my mother is very selfish. It's because she cannot see from other people's point of view. Oh, man. I don't believe she does anything maliciously, but because she thinks everyone thinks like her. Yes, she's dependent on the man in her life at the moment. She only sees her value as a wife or girlfriend. No, my mom does not want my husband. I believe she would rather become a nun than sleep with my husband. And I won't say what he would rather do, but nope, that's not a concern, lol. Making her feel young again is a good point, but I am super sick and act closer to her age than mine. I don't want to stop her from dating. When she has a boy toy thing, it takes time away from me, so I normally enjoy it. This guy is just some bad news, and she's acting like he is Jesus himself walking on water. So other than the first comment I made about him, I haven't said anything other than normally wrap it before you tap it jokes, which I would make no matter who the guy was. I appreciate that, OP. I've tried to step back, but can't do much without her having a fit about we don't spend time with her. We do have her down to roughly once a week, normally Sunday dinner, but sometimes she wants to go shopping/lunch. And that's the end of that episode.
I asked my sister to leave despite knowing she needs somewhere to stay.
Can't stay here, sis.
So, I, 33 male, have been married to my wife, 26 female, Maya, fake name, for 2 years, together for 5. My wife and I met when I was doing a semester in France.
Cute.
I was studying to become a lawyer, but I wasn't happy in my home country, South Korea, and decided to try a semester in Europe, and I chose France. I loved it, but what truly made me want to stay is my now wife, Maya. I was 27 back then, and she was 21. I met Maya at a cafe while she was working. She was working part-time to fund her education, and once I landed my eyes on her, I couldn't stop thinking about her.
Aww.
That's so sweet.
That's so cute.
By the way, this comes from SeniorGood960, and if you want to submit your own stories to the r/OKstorytime Reddit, go ahead and do so. So, Maya and I are very different. I come from a well-off family while hers is working class. I'm mentioning it because it's relevant to the story. My mom is a doctor and my dad a lawyer, so we never had financial problems growing up. Me and my sister, 35 female, Cindy, fake name as well, have always been taught by our parents to prioritize our education before anything else. Same. My sister, Cindy, however, wasn't the type to listen. After pursuing my wife for months, she agreed to go on a date with me. It was hard to keep her attention as she wasn't interested in dating and was pursued by other guys as well. Eventually, she fell in love with me, and we have been committed to each other ever since. I completed my education and unfortunately went back to Korea at my parents' request. Maya and I were in a long-distance relationship for a short period until I couldn't take it anymore. I asked her to come to Korea to meet my parents. That's how serious I was about her. She freaked out and outright refused. She was scared my parents wouldn't like her, and we had a huge fight. She's the anxious type and overthinks a lot. After 2 days and long conversations, she agreed to come to Korea to meet my parents.
Dude, this is the plot of Crazy Rich Asians right here.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah. Except it's Malaysia, not Korea, but it's the same kind of like obsessive having to like impress the parents for status.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, she didn't speak a word of Korean, but her English was, and still is, on point. I arranged the meeting with my parents at a nice restaurant and my sister was present. When we walked in, my mother's eyes widened because she didn't expect my girlfriend to be black. Maya was born and raised in France, but she's 100% African. When I told my parents I met a girl I liked in France, I should have known they'd expect a white girl.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah, there's a lot of colorism in Asian cultures. I know, like, even within your own culture, like, that's why there's a lot of emphasis on, like, skincare and paleness and, like, not being in the sun. That's why you see a lot of, like, Asian cultures, like, hiding in the shade or wearing hats or having parasols. Like, even within Filipino culture, I know there's the idea that, like, pale is more beautiful. I think largely because of, like, the Spanish colonization and all that conquest trauma that we have to deal with generationally and are still dealing with. So
So there's probably that dynamic that they're gonna have at dinner, but the parents are gonna overcome it and see her as another person, and that's not gonna be a problem.
Absolutely, we love a happy ending on OK Storytime.
Exactly,
we love happy endings here, don't we?
Yeah, that's what I'm think's gonna happen.
People can change for the better. It happened in Crazy Rich Asians. It can happen here.
Boom.
Nonetheless, the meeting went great. They asked questions about her education, her parents, her family, etc. I could see that she was nervous, but even though my parents were a bit reluctant of our relationship in the beginning, they accepted her and we got married. The thorn in my foot was always Cindy. For a reason I never quite understood, she never accepted Maya. Maya tried to be friendly in the hopes they'd be more amicable, but with no success, so she gave up and told me it's not my problem. She can simply stay away from me and I'll be fine with that, which I agreed to with a laugh. Cindy isn't easy to get along with, and I say that as her brother. When we got married in France, Cindy found a way to criticize everything. The food from my wife's country, the traditional attire she wanted to wear, but the real puncher was the duration of the ceremony. African and Korean weddings are very different on that point. Our weddings are relatively short, whereas theirs can last up to 8 hours. Cindy complained and said that none of our relatives would ever stay that long. And if Maya's family were jobless people who only wanted to party, they were going to be by themselves.
Oh boy.
There's a lot to unpack there. Maya didn't like that, and they got into a screaming match. At the end, my mom told Cindy to apologize because it wasn't her wedding and that she had no say in the planning process. Again, what is it with like wedding planning that brings the worst out of people?
Attention, spotlight.
True.
Spotlight's not on me. I'm gonna scream.
After the ceremony, my wife and I applied for her visa so she could come and live with us in Korea. It was a really hard decision for her, but her mom convinced her that she had to because now you're a married woman and you have to follow your husband. I didn't agree with that, but my wife still decided to come live with me. When we informed my family, my mom was really happy about it, but my sister said, so it's one more of those foreigners marrying their way to Korea.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Cindy, what's wrong, girl?
Dude, this is what I thought Cindy was. I thought Cindy was the type that doesn't think traditionally. I'm not going to be a doctor or a lawyer because my parents want me to.
Right.
And then she is the accepting one for Maya, and then the parents weren't.
Yeah.
That's not the case at all. I really don't understand where Cindy's coming from. I'm trying to see.
Someone hurt her.
Someone hurt
her really bad, and she hasn't been able to let it go.
She didn't do the traditional thing, but she's still thinking
stuck
in
the
this
traditional mindset.
It's weird.
So it's like she doesn't want the traditional thing for herself, but is expecting other people to follow that because it's what makes her comfortable. It's her comfort, and no one else's.
Yeah, this is weird. This is super weird.
Yikes. Maya simply ignored her first, but Cindy wouldn't drop it, so she told her to go back to beg for her shut up ring.
Interesting.
My sister was at the time with her boyfriend Noah, 37 male, for 7 years on and off. She wanted to marry Noah, but he made it clear it wasn't his priority.
Oh.
She pressured him, and he finally gave in, and they got married. My sister was studying to be a doctor. She completed her education, but when she married Noah, she didn't try to find a job or unhopped in the stay-at-home wife role. Fast forward to now. Maya and I have a son, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Buell, who's soon gonna be 2.
All right.
Maya was working in something commercial, but once she gave birth, she decided to stay at home for a bit. She's now 5 months pregnant with our second baby. Cindy, however, recently got divorced after Noah had an affair with his secretary, leaving her with almost nothing after the divorce. He threw her out of the house, and since she wasn't working and Noah wasn't leaving her access to their account, she only got a small amount of money out of the divorce, but not enough to live with.
Oh man, if only you could, have a stable job to rely on.
Right? It's like,
wow.
Man, if only you had a set of skills that's highly sought after and could possibly provide you a very well provided life doing something that's meaningful and helpful to society in general, during which you'd be seen as a positive force for the community and for your country and would be looked at and respected.
Man, if only you were to do something like that.
Oh man, it just seems so hard if you've gone to medical school,
Yeah.
I bet.
And earlier I was not doing forced labor. I'm just saying it was silly that she went to school and didn't become a doctor because she just thought it would be easier to be a stay-at-home wife. Casey Roberts pointed me out there. I just want to clear that up real quick.
She asked me and my wife if she could stay with us for a bit. I originally wanted to refuse, but Maya said that my sister needed help and that she was in a dark place, so we had to be nicer and more supportive regarding her situation. So we welcomed her, and she's been living with us for 6 months now.
Oh, no.
Ever since she's been living with us, it's been a nightmare.
Oh, gosh.
She's criticizing everything. My wife isn't cooking enough. Buell is too much glued to his mama. He's a mama's boy. What can I do about that? Nothing. He probably gets it from me. He's also, what, 2?
2.
He's 2. He's
2.
a kid. That's what babies do. He can't go off and work in the fields.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. We don't speak Korean enough to him. She doesn't want to eat African food. Maya isn't dedicated enough to her husband and son, etc. Maya always put up with it and told me she was probably depressed because of how her marriage ended. She's always tried to be understanding, even though my sister's behavior has taken a huge visible toll on her mental health. The situation has been a lot worse ever since Maya got pregnant. She was extremely upset and tired, and we didn't understand why. Once we found out she was pregnant, it made sense. But taking care of the house, the baby, and my sister was too much. I hired a housekeeper so my wife could focus more on her pregnancy and have more time to herself. Cindy complained that I was spoiling her and that she should be used to doing all of that because women from the working class have 6 children, work, and take care of everything. Okay, Cindy, what is your problem?
Dude.
There's a lot of like prejudice here.
Yeah.
And a lot of just like looking at stereotypes, which is not warranted at all.
Yeah.
Someone had to have hurt her or like
Yeah.
gotten her into this mentality, which doesn't excuse anything at all. But it's like,
And I think, having her in your house, you did the angel move, you let her in.
yeah.
After 3 months of this, you're gone. You got to be gone.
Yeah.
You're bringing my house into a nightmare and you're criticizing everything my wife's doing. You can't be having that.
I understand Opie's her brother,
Yeah.
but the fact that this isn't your house, they're doing you a favor. Where do you
Yeah.
feel? I mean, I understand where she feels the entitlement, but also at the same time, where do you get that entitlement?
Yeah.
Where are you getting that audacity, Cindy?
Exactly.
She said that Maya was lazy and that I was spoiling her. I couldn't take it anymore, and I told her to mind her own business, that I wasn't going to take advice from a pick-me who wasn't capable of keeping her marriage despite being male-centered.
Oh.
It was mean, I know, but I was tired of her criticizing my pregnant wife in her own home. Cindy called me cruel and went back to her room yelling profanities at me, but I couldn't care less about it. What really set me over the edge was 2 weeks ago. We were having dinner. My son was having a sleepover at my parents' house, so it was me, Cindy, my wife, and the housekeeper. The housekeeper was serving us dinner, and Maya filled her plate with various dishes and side dishes. She told the housekeeper to stay and have dinner with us since it was late at night and that she wouldn't be able to finish it all. She tried to protest, but Maya insisted she'd share a meal with us, so she grabbed a plate and went back to the table. We were eating, and since Maya eats for 2 people, she was eating more than usual. Cindy smirked and said she should slow it down because she's only 5 months pregnant and that she'd soon become a whale. Maya put down her spoon immediately. Our housekeeper said it wasn't true, that she needed to nourish both her body and the baby, and she put both fish and meat on my wife's plate. Cindy said that no man wants to parade with a whale on his arm, and that my wife should be more self-conscious of the way she looks. Cindy knows that Maya has been insecure about her weight and overall appearance since the second pregnancy. I could see her eyes fill themselves with tears, and she left the table and I lost it. While I could hear my wife crying in our garden, our housekeeper trying to calm her down, I was straight up yelling at Cindy and told her to get out of my house.
That is crazy.
You know what else is crazy?
What's that, Matt?
Listening to full episodes just like this, going on to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and searching OK Storytime. That would be crazy,
That's
but not out of
wild.
the realm of possibility.
Yeah, also, I was really sidetracked by the brief mention of the housekeeper and garden.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you live? They are well off right now.
Not
Holy cow.
necessarily. Because in Asia, at least the Philippines, from what I know, labor is cheap.
Okay.
It's more cheap than like material things. So instead of like doing it yourself, it's sometimes more like economical or like affordable at least to have a housekeeper or to have hired help because it's it could be a situation where they are well off. Like you've seen Parasite, they're well off. They have housekeepers.
Yeah.
Like even like my family in the Philippines who's like I think maybe middle class, like they have hired help just because it's easier for them to divide the housework and then go to work or
Oh, wow.
things like that.
Okay.
It's
okay.
not out of the realm of possibility.
Okay, that makes sense.
For months, she has been insulting my wife in her own house, and because Maya is nice, she put up with it. But I wasn't going to let it slide this time. I told her that it was one thing to let her blank of her husband cheat on her, and that she was left with nothing. But my wife didn't have to baby her. She needed to leave my house now, or I was going to call the cops to get her out of my house. Cindy tried to cry and tell me she had nowhere else to go, but I wasn't having it. She left the house and went to stay at my parents' house. You had somewhere to go. There you go. Maya feels terrible and thinks that the situation is her fault because family members have been nonstop messaging both of us. Her for breaking our family apart, and me for choosing my wife over my sister, who's in a difficult situation.
Well, no.
Am I the booty hole? No.
My family expected me to always put them first, but not this time.
Family first, but like you're part of your family, so you come first too.
That's right. And this is from the r/OKstorytime subreddit. One of our own family members, if you're here, say hey. For some backstory, I live with my family in a 2-bedroom apartment in New York. It was my grandma, my mom, my sister, and my brother, and me in 1 bedroom. And my uncle stayed in the 2nd bedroom. Once I was 15, I started to work to help my family out. I had to give them half of my paycheck to my grandma and help with bills, which was minimum $150 a week and a maximum of $230 a week. Holy cow. My uncle gave her $70 a week, and my mom gave around $100 a week. By the way, this comes from Smart Mouth Virgo, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKstorytime subreddit, where this one is also from. When I turned 18, this arrangement changed due to the fact that I was basically given a mattress and told I would have to sleep on there until further accommodation was made. I slept on the mattress for the next year and a half when I moved out with my boyfriend. I was told that although I didn't have my own room or a decent bed, I had to keep on giving them half of my check. I didn't think this was fair and just stopped giving her half of my check and gave her $100 weekly. By the way, during this time, rent was about $450 a month since she was in Section 8. I am the oldest of my siblings and am seen as the responsible one and the dependable one in the family. These exceptions were only set for me. These exceptions were never expected of my siblings. Now to current times. I'm 24. A few months away from 25. Last year, I found out I was pregnant with my miracle baby and was honestly shocked and surprised at the idea. During my pregnancy, my family still had certain expectations of me as a person they come to with a lot of their problems, and I would have to fix it. During my pregnancy, I was constantly called to know where my brother was or what he was up to, or figure out his school situation. I was also called during this time to tell me how bad of a time my sister was having, who got pregnant 2 months after me, and would add to how easygoing my pregnancy was compared to hers. Never once was a call to ask about me or how I was doing. It was sad, but I ignored the feeling and just brushed it off as my hormones. Yikes, dude, this is crazy.
Why is it a competition to see who has the more difficult pregnancy?
Dude, I don't know, just something to complain about. I feel like a lot of people just want something to complain about.
Yeah.
If they don't, they're going to find it. I cannot be around those people. It just, I have become that person before, and I try to not become that person. Sometimes it just happens, but
Sometimes you don't recognize it when it's happened. But
Yeah.
the fact that you can look back on it and recognize it means there was character growth there and that
Wow.
you're not that person anymore.
well, it comes back sometimes. But dude, this is so sad.
Imagine sleeping on a mattress on the floor and having to pay that much in rent. Like that's no.
They're just
no.
they're just using you to pay the bills. I don't think they really care about you,
No.
OB.
They care about OP's ability to caretake and provide,
Yeah.
but not their personhood.
Yeah, that's a good point. On December 20th, my mother was set to get surgery on her spine due to her hernias she had. In advance, I had to voice to both my mom and grandma that I wouldn't be able to be at the hospital 2 days in a row since I was literally 36 weeks pregnant at the time, and it would be really difficult and stressful for me and the baby, and that I also had to work. So we settled that I would be there on the 21st since she was going to get discharged that day and needed some help and someone to take her home. Well, the day of the surgery, my grandma starts blowing up my phone saying that I'm a bad daughter to my mother since I am not there for her, and starts saying that I should be going with my mother. During my pregnancy, I had really bad anxiety, which I still have, and started crying and got an anxiety attack to the point that I started getting Braxton Hicks. That's crazy.
What is that?
I think it's like bumps and stuff on you
Oh,
where you
okay.
have such a bad anxiety attack. That's what I think it is.
I don't know for sure, but I think it's something about like early contractions, pretty much.
Got
Like
it.
that it's not actually
Yeah.
the baby's not actually coming, but it's like painful contractions.
What is
Angie's right.
Braxton Hicks?
Angie's right. It's false labor or sporadic contractions.
Also
I
known
learned
as
that from friends.
practice contractions or false labor. Guys. On the 21st, I went over to the hospital to get my mom and had to wait about 3 hours until she got discharged. I took her to my grandma's and went home. It's important to say that my mother has severe anxiety, depression, and is bipolar. During this time, she stopped taking her medication until the 28th of December, which sent her in a spiral. I was called by my grandmother to calm my mom down because my mother pushed her and started packing her stuff. She didn't want her to get hurt because she was supposed to be in complete rest mode during recovery. I got over there, and my mother starts yelling at me and says that I left her like a stray dog in the hospital, and a lot of other things that I'd rather not say. It's absolutely sucked to hear those things. But I didn't blame her because she wasn't on her medication. There's the life source that these vampires are sucking from, OP.
It's her fault for not being on her meds.
Yeah.
And I understand that people sometimes don't want to take their meds because of how it makes them feel, but that's a choice on you sometimes.
Yeah, and could she have meds after surgery? Was she not able to? That's my other question. Like, if you had a surgery done on your spine, can you even take these meds?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
On January 6th, I gave birth right after midnight and waited until the morning to let everyone know. I was in the hospital until the 8th, and no one from my family showed up. The only one that went was my little brother. I was hit with every excuse in the book and just said it's okay because I didn't know what else to say. After giving birth, it was the same thing. Calling to know what's going on with my brother, my sister, or to tell me their problems and not actually knowing about me. In April, my mom had another surgery and the same expectations were had, although I was taking care of my baby and couldn't leave him with anyone. I went to the hospital with my baby, where I had an anxiety attack because they told me I wouldn't be able to see my mom because I had my baby with me, which I understood, but at the moment, it was devastating because I was expected to make sure my mom was okay by my grandma. They let me see her for a few minutes, and then I go. About a month and a half ago, my uncle was in the hospital because of his diabetes, and I was the one my grandma called to be there and figure out what was going on. To get to my mom and my uncle, there were no excuses. They were there for them. I was literally a 15-minute car ride from my grandma when I gave birth, and no, they didn't show up for me. And for the people that always speak on how important family is, I haven't felt like family in a very long time because you're a family member, but you're not a family member to them. No one has ever made an effort for me, but I make the effort for everyone else, and none of them do it for me. I take everyone's burdens and fix them. I have time and time again to try to set boundaries, but they break them. And on top of everything, I fall back into helping even when I try not to because my grandma starts chatting my ear off about how ungrateful and selfish I am or how I'm abandoning the family.
Why pay for like a live-in nurse when you can have one for free?
Yeah, when you can guilt one for free.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's even worse.
Dude, at this point, I'm thinking of taking space from my family because I feel like I am not seen as family, but as someone they can use. Currently, I'm dealing with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, and I feel like every time I speak to them, my anxiety goes through the roof, and I need to prioritize my baby and my well-being. And right now, I know they're not good for me. Honestly, I don't know if I'm being unreasonable for taking care of my mental health in this form. By the way, the beginning was giving context to what was expected of me. I don't hold any resentment towards what I had to contribute. It's just messed up how much I had to contribute apart from doing laundry for everyone, cleaning, and taking care of my brother. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. This is so bad. I'm so sorry, OP.
This is putting too much expectation on a family member. Like, you wouldn't do this to someone like you would pay to take care of the family. Like, they wouldn't take it. So the fact that you are a family is just giving them that wiggle room to abuse you like that. Because it's, again, with that idea of it's for the family, so you have to do it. Like, yes, family comes first, but you're not family at this point.
Yeah.
You're the help.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just treating you like you're the help. Yeah, awesome, Ashley. Leave and take your brother with you. I think that might be the best move here. Just go no contact, pull the funding. They're just going to guilt you.
Yeah.
Change your number, change where you live. Just be like, you're not respecting me. And honestly, I think taking 6 months away from them, Duchess says either they need to come halfway in your relationship or those relationships
We're destined to fail anyway.
destined to fail anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not going to get better
Ugh.
from here because they've gotten away with it so far. And every single time, OP has done what is right for the family and
Yep.
has never had any pushback.
Mhm.
So there's no expectation from the rest of the relatives that OP would ever take time for themselves.
Yeah,
I think the kicker is that no one came to support OP when OP had their baby.
that is true.
That's, I think, the worst
No one
part.
visited. No one came to help.
If at least they came to support, there is at least some expectation that if OP needed it, they would be there to support, that there is the support system. And that, yes, it's rough that everyone needs her,
Yeah,
but like there is no support system there. It's just, I need this and you need to be here.